Hey everyone. If you haven't noticed, I'm in a season of thinking about how we can make it unreasonable to get responses for our customers. And so this evening, I worked on a swipe file that I'll probably be posting on social media, but I'm probably, you could just read it here. Um, of a bunch of templates that you can just start off using for cold email, and you could just start inputting how you help people so that you don't have to think about the structure of the email as much, and you can just be testing value propositions because good copywriting sometimes just comes down to like a good structure and the way that you think about things. And the reason why people respond though is all about the offer. So we're just going to jump into it. I'm just going to walk you through the doc. Pretty simple video today. So the first sequence that we have in here is our like standard email sequence. Now, what I would say is I've already made a dedicated video on this, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But this is still one of my favorite email templates that I've ever created, mostly because it modulates no matter what offer you have. Everything modulates in the campaign. So if you've never seen this before, we have our first line, which is a recency waterfall or a relevance based first line. And so what I mean by this is like I've used clay.com to create a workflow where we look for something recent about the person, and then if we can find anything recent, we say, "Hey, like I saw your LinkedIn post about blah blah blah. Started checking out your company and how you help people do blah blah blah, and I thought we should be connected." Or we could say something more relevant where we say something like, "Hey, I could tell that the sales team is growing because on LinkedIn, Jennifer seems like she joined the team 4 months ago." Right. And so we would just switch between either one of those things. And then here we just insert the messaging to be tested. So this is where you've got your value propositions, and you've got your big value proposition, and then you've got your micro little value propositions as well. And you want to be testing as many of them in here. Keep thinking about how do you help people save time, how do you help them save money, how do you help them make more money, those kinds of offers. Then we say specifically, I think it could help you. And then we just train AI on what the company does that we're doing the outreach for. And then we show the AI what the prospects company does. So then we can say, like, if we were reaching out, it would be like, I think specifically, I think we could help you, automate your outbound to doctors so that you guys would be able to help more of them make more money, whatever it would come out to be. And then we'd say, if we could help you, with your outbound marketing, would that be useful to you? Nice and easy. One line, and I'm just gonna say this right now. One line that I'm percolating on right now. I was just watching an Alex Hermosi video, and an alternative that I just got hit with, that he said was basically, um, is there any amount of proof and send that would make it worth take a call with me. And so basically, this he didn't even mean it in a copywriting frame, but he meant it in a totally other frame of just basically saying, what would it take to be able to change your mind about this thing? And that started getting me thinking about CTAs as well. So anyway, I was just thinking about that. AI generated analogy. All this is we basically train AI on how our company or the company we're doing outreach for helps people save time, save money, or make more money. Then we look at their company description, and then we ask AI, like, what's the most obvious thing that they do, help people save time, save money, or whatever, and then make an analogy from that. So it'd be like, hey, Gymshark, the same way you guys help people save money on fashionable fitness clothing, we help people save money by scaling their outbound without hiring people, right? So that's what it would look like. So an email two, hey, first name, and I have to imagine you didn't leave past company stoked to worry about problems. See, just like a slight personalization, nothing crazy. And then we just have our messaging to be tested. No need to hop on a call. Could I send you a video of how it works? The reason why we're switching to a video now is because they didn't respond to like a CTA for, interest where I'm really going for a call. So now we're seeing like, hey, could I send you something that's asynchronous and that's not going to take up your time? And we'll see how it goes. Then we've got this PS. I actually learned this from Andy Mooborn. and I thought it was just really great. I really liked it. He was putting in his emails, "P.S. or feel free to tell me to pound sand," and people really responded well to it. They thought it was funny, and they said, "Oh, I wasn't going to respond until I saw your P.S. and I thought it was funny, and it's fine." And some people would tell you to pound sand, but they're going to tell you to unsubscribe anyway, so who cares? And so then we get into here, hey, first name, let me know if, and then we'll just call out another person or two at the company that potentially handles this as well with a similar title. So if we're reaching out to marketing leaders, and this so happens to be the director of marketing, we'll try to find the chief marketing officer or the VP of marketing. And then this is actually one of my most popular videos on YouTube. It is also one of the more popular campaigns that we run. The only reason I buried it in email 3 is just because I really want the value propositions to speak for themselves, because this is really where we're testing for value propositions. And then in here it might come up with a value proposition that we didn't intend, and we can get those learnings. Right. So I put this in here. Essentially, if you've never seen that video before, all we're doing is we're just using AI to, again, the same thing as up here, where we're using AI to come up with how we specifically could help them. But now it's giving 3 bullet points instead. And maybe I can make that a bit. Yeah, let's do that. And do any of these look like a fit we could discuss with your team? Great. So we go in there. And so our next template, a Josh Braun style email. This is so I think Josh Braun is just the best quote unquote influencer guru around cold email copy. And I just like his style a ton. And so hopefully I paid homage to it well enough. And so we just go into it. Hey, first name, relevant first line, same thing as above. And then a poke the bear question. So a poke the bear question is just a question to make them think differently about the problem and your offering. So he always uses this as an example. He always says, "How are you preparing for your Ironman?" That's just a regular question. But if you instead were to say, "How are you training so that you don't get shin splints weeks before the big race?" Now you're thinking about you're making them think about something they possibly haven't considered, or it's a big fat problem. And then this is an easy way to just test your messaging. We're helping companies like case study. Oh, I got to put case study. Achieve outcome in time frame without no good rotten thing. Somebody asked me what this meant because there's already people on the doc. Somebody asked me what I meant. This is just the problem. So we are helping companies like One Schema or Numeral HQ achieve 2 to 3 leads a day without scaling their outbound team. Right. That's like what we'd be able to say. Another one is a lead magnet email. I actually think everyone should be using a lead magnet, but I am just writing these with the knowledge that most people won't have a lead magnet. But I've made other videos on that. You should search my YouTube channel for those. I think everyone should have a lead magnet email. Alex Hormozy just wrote a great book called $100 Million Leads that you should just read. Everyone should have a lead magnet email. But anyway, so the tough part about lead magnet emails and giving you a template is the lead magnet emails basically write themselves when you nail it. And so once you have your lead magnet, it'll all form. So, I mean, I said I saw something relevant about your message. We help companies achieve this. I'd never expect you to believe me without giving you something first. I made you a resource and wonder if you let me know if it was useful, and then maybe we could chat. This is just a template, but honestly, this is like the weakest template I've probably ever come up with. Really, I just wanted this as a placeholder of you should have a lead magnet campaign strategy. And so this is one that has worked amazingly well for us in the past. We say, hey, first name, saw you post pretty often on LinkedIn. We're a team of B2B data scrapers, and I made something for you. I scraped your past 10 posts to find everyone that engaged, and I enriched them with their work emails, titles, and company names. Here's the link to the sheet. Just request access so that I know that you got it. And so that is precisely how we would, like that's just a great lead magnet email that for every 10 people we reached out to, we got a positive response. So killer email. This is a style that I learned from Patrick William Joyce, and so or PWJ. So a shout out to him. Follow him on LinkedIn. Um, I just really like the way that he does his email. So a lot of times, see how we kind of have this F shape going, where we have all the spacing and one sentence per line and everything. He sends it to them as if you know he's a CEO just quickly texting another CEO. So, hey, first name, are there any discussions internally? RE thing you do. We're helping companies like blah 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 achieve blah blah. And so you could really just switch this out for any kind of value proposition statement. I'm just putting that because it's an easy way to frame value propositions. So anyway, what else did I want to say about this? Oh, you might see that none of these have subject lines. That's because I think subject lines, there's no template for subject lines. There's just frameworks. So I don't like to I don't like to say this subject line is better than anything. I mean, if your subject line doesn't beat quick question, then switch it, right? Like that's not going to work. But so the way I think about subject lines is how can you send a subject line that it's possible that a customer sent them an email or a colleague sent them an email with that subject line. That's mostly the way that I think about it. And so then the Here Goes Nothing campaign, I don't know. I just kind of like this one. It's literally subject line is "Here goes nothing," and then I say, "I know I'm just a rando from LinkedIn, so I'll keep it quick. We're helping companies do this thing." And then this is that like Alex Hormozy call out here. I think I would, if I were given an actual offer to apply this template to, I might switch it up a little bit. But I just like the way this subject line comes across, and then this preview text comes across. Um, it's definitely a very casual read, and so for some audiences, it might not be the best. Like possibly CFOs. Oh, I see. I don't want to pigeonhole any titles into this, but there are some audiences that might be a little buttoned up who might not like the style of email. If you were to email this to like a tech founder, I think they would love it. And well, no, I do know that they would love it. We've run it in the past, and like VPs of sales and things like that. So anyway, younger crowd, I would guess, because this is rando part. And then an extremely short email, literally shortest email you receive all day. If someone could help you, blah, 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 would that be useful? Literally right to the point. Now, in the vein of being the shortest email of the day, we also have the Oren Klaff special. And so Oren Klaff, he is a best-selling author. He wrote not sure how many books, but Flip the Script and Pitch Anything were some of my favorite books that he wrote. And I went to a lot of his events. I think he's a really great presenter, and I actually I used to work for him too, and so I went to a lot of his events. And one thing he would do all the time, and I wouldn't say this is for everybody by any means, but it's kind of a fun pattern interrupt, is he puts the whole message in the subject line and says, "Would you like to chat?" RE, and then whatever outcome. And then he literally just says, "Hey, first name, whole question is in the subject line. Let me know if you like to connect." And it's just a pattern interrupt. And so he usually does this to raise money for companies. Um, so it would look like, "Would you like to chat? Are you increasing your top of funnel pipeline?" We could, probably add some more. But well, no, maybe make it shorter, I guess. But anyway, not for the faint of heart is basically what I want to say about that one. The unique college call out. Now, this one is really fun. Kudos to Yash on the Clay team for actually inspiring this one, and I just thought it was such an interesting one. So basically, you use Clay to look up what college they went to, and then use AI to generate a unique event that happens at that college annually. And then you say 3 to 5 words about that in the subject line, and then we say, "Hey, first name, I figure you get emails like this all the time, so I want it to be quick." Again, we're helping companies, and this is really just a value proposition statement. Any way you want to put it, this is just an easy framework to think of, but any way you want to put your value proposition, great. And then we say, is solving a problem a priority over a company name recently, signature. And then we say, notice you went to college and have heard the event is pretty popular. I wanted to make a subject line that would stick out in your inbox. And we'll probably keep it like that. Creative ideas campaign, we already talked about that. This is just as an email one, and I just switched out the content so that we could use it as an email one. And then these are just generic templates to just keep you thinking, right? So quick outcome based email, relevant first line or fallback line. And so what I mean by that is like something relevant, or our fallback line for everything is usually, I saw how your company helps, people do blah, 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 and I wanted to get connected. If I could help you do, is that something you'd be interested in, right? Just quick stuff that you could just iterate on really quick. Quick case study email. I recently just held case study company, accomplished outcome, and I think we could do something similar for you. Could I show you how it works? Again, super, super quick, lots of different ways that you can change that. Company founding story. This is one that I love to use if the company has a great founding story. So, for example, if you founded a company to scratch your own itch and you say that to people who were just like you. So, if you used to run gyms and now you run a company for gym owners, and you used to own e-commerce brands and now you run a company that helps e-commerce brands, they want to know that you're similar. And so Anyway, this is just to say we started company because, and then you could say like I was an e-commerce brand and I hated collecting sales tax automatically, whatever you wanted to say, and then you just jump into it. And then this is just some frameworks to think about local business outreach where we just personalize by the competitor from Google Maps. This isn't anything crazy. And then feedback email. So I think it's important to all like as the founder of Growth Engine X, we're always looking to get sales conversations for our customers, but sometimes we don't really know exactly what to say to them. So sometimes feedback emails are great because they allow us to take some shots on goal and to test some feedback without going crazy and just, you know, talking to no one essentially. So this is Jed Marley. He a great copywriter, literally stealing this from him. Go follow him on LinkedIn too. He literally sent this in his newsletter. So also follow him from his newsletter. And he's saying, hey, first, let me preface this by saying I'm trying not to sell you. I was hoping to get some feedback from you as someone I would normally sell to. I've started to build the sales team here at Mailshakes. And so you could say anything, really, you could say anything you want here about your value proposition. We're a competitor of tools like blah, 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 blah. I'm genuinely curious, if anything, what would it take for you to consider an alternative? Or basically I gave other options, or swap out for an explanation of how you help, and then swap out for, do you currently have this problem? Right. And so just try to get feedback from people, because a lot of times people are more helpful than you might think, as long as you come across a little bit more genuine. And then this media template we've used, I really like this media template a lot for two different reasons. One, it helps get feedback, but then two, it also helps build a lead magnet for companies that don't have lead magnets. And so what I mean by this is basically we reach out and we say we're speaking with other VPs of sales and we're curious if we could get a quote. No call is necessary. We just said two questions. And we just say question intended to actually ask their opinion. This becomes the question of like, we asked 50 VPs of sales how they decrease their speed to lead, and these were all the answers, right? That's the thing that we could, turn into a lead magnet, right? Or we could and then number two is question intended to see if they have a problem you might be able to help solve. So if we then say, do you feel like your calendar solution is making things harder to get back to leads faster or easier? It's just some question to just see, do they actually recognize this as a problem? Um, that's what we'll do in the second one. I'm trying to think of any other examples. Like if we were thinking about clay.com, like question intended to see if they have the problem, it would be like, the first question would be like, how many data providers does your sales team have access to? And then the second one would be, does your sales, how much time on average do you feel that your sales reps spend researching, you know, a contact in each of the databases? Or you could even ask, how many of those databases do you feel like go to waste because it doesn't fit their normal workflow? Things like that, right? So you could ask different questions to see what people care about the most. And then we just say, we're looking to share answers from you and your peers anonymously in a report we're gathering for the market. Any response would be appreciated. Boom. That's just basically the way we think about it. Then just follow-up templates. With follow-ups, the big thing I think about with follow-ups is they didn't respond to your first email. So now we just have to think about, how can we just twist it slightly to, we talked about one value proposition. How do we talk about something else? These are some, so other than just general follow-ups, here's some interesting follow-ups we've done in the past. So we'll send memes. So it's like, hey, first name, let me know if this meme resonates at all. And then we'll do something like, sales reps, your team cleaning out the CRM, and then your team's bandwidth, or just cleaning out your CRM, whatever it might be. Jokes aside, let me know if you'd like to connect RE insert problem you solve. Right. So let me know if you'd like to connect about CRM hygiene or whatever you want to talk about there. This is another one I like. Some people say this is too salesy. Call me out. I don't care. Um, so basically, a lot of times when we're writing our email one, there's things that we have to cut from email one that get put into email two. And I like to distinctly put them in a bullet point. So it's like, hey, this is, the quick and down dirty how we can help. And then another one I like is to just say, I rolled the dice reaching out to you, or other employee name. Let me know if this falls under you or if I should reach out to them. And yeah, I just like following up. But this is usually more of like my last email in a sequence. And then with this doc, I mean, I intend on sharing this with customers. So with this doc, I also included, every like personalized line that I can think of that we've made in the past. So maybe we'll make a video on that. But with that video, I'd want to show how we make all of those. So I'm just gonna have to sit down and film it. But yeah, thank you for watching the video as usual. I hope you guys got value.